Hey, another open dragon mouth, and we just want to start off with some stuff involving this channel. I know that I've said I had a schedule in as far as alternating between my vlogs and what ruffles my fur, and I know I haven't got one out within the past few weeks, and the reason is I've been busy. I actually had to get out of North Carolina on a business trip into Pittsburgh, believe it or not. And of all places, the Omni, one of the overflow hotels for Anthrocon. Mainly because that I had to do some contracted maintenance work for the hotel. So anyone staying over at the Omni, I checked some of the machines out. You should be all good. But yeah, it's weird going to Pittsburgh, not for a furry convention, but yeah, it just brings back so many memories, and it just feels so good being back in Pittsburgh. I actually, after I went to work, I actually went to see a hockey game with the Pittsburgh Penguins as they took on the Vancouver Canucks, and it was really entertaining. It's much nicer than we have here in North Carolina. PNC Arena, it's nothing compared to PPG Paints Arena. I mean, you have to go 3 flights of escalators to get to the 100 level. They have an actual food court, and they pretty much they're doing old-fashioned vending, where they are going through the stands selling cotton candy, beer. It's amazing. But there's one thing I learned from going to that hockey game, is that Penguins can be noisy. Their mascot, Iceberg, was all over the place playing a drum and an air horn throughout the whole game. Oy. But it was good being in Pittsburgh. Another thing is that I have been noticing. Now, I know that my vlogs are not the most popular on my channel. A lot come to see the convention videos. And I had noticed that one of my videos has actually reached the 10,000 views mark, which was the Whose Line Is It Anyway panel from Anthrocon of last year. Biggest Little Fur Con from last year is almost about to hit the 10,000 mark. It's only about, as of right now, 19 views away from reaching it. So it's been a while since I've had certain videos get so many views so quickly. I know it's not viral levels, but it's really impressive for my channel that's been around for almost 10 years. And there's only one other video that has way more views, and that was all the way back 9 years ago, back when I was in my first year of college, warning about links with phishing scams, that everyone's being sent a link with their information being hacked. And people are still viewing it. Really, guys? You still want to see it? I mean, that's old stuff, 9 years ago. I mean, information is still relevant. You don't want to click any links that you that you don't know about. But really, you're still watching it? But yeah, I am quite impressed with how many views these convention videos are getting. Let's move on to some different stuff here. Now, I haven't talked about comics in a while. Now, there were fears that a long-running comic, Sonic the Hedgehog, which is from Archie Comics, there were some fears that it was canceled because of what one fan had noticed. What had happened was that last month, one fan had noticed that subscriptions for the Sonic, well, actually, people have made Sonic videos, these weird parodies of it, but Sonic the Hedgehog, for both the Archie Comics iOS and Android app and their online web store, had been removed. And that all the comics, including backstocks of Sonic the Hedgehog, were heavily discounted up to 75% off. And what was even more concerning is that they had dropped the 2017 issue of Sonic Free Comic Book Day. This was after they had revealed a cover for it. And instead replacing it with a promotional issue of Riverdale to boost popularity with a new television show on the CW network. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that Archie Comics actually received a cease and desist order from Sega of Japan to stop printing any comics, mainly because it's likely that their long-running contract had expired and they haven't had a new one yet. So while that's being done, the subscriptions were removed and a fire sale of backstock was announced to clear out any excess inventory. But when the fans had asked Archie Comics about this, they neither confirmed or denied that the comic had even been canceled. But back in January 23rd, they had published its April 2017 solicitations for upcoming comic books, and among them were Sonic the Hedgehog issue 291 and Sonic Universe 95. Both were, what happened is that they were originally going to be released this month, but they've actually been delayed to April. So it's more of a licensing issue between Sega and Archie Comics, but they will be out. They just had to push back because they had to get a new contract going. But just for the record, Sonic the Hedgehog is actually one of the longest running comic series. In fact, they hold a record for the longest running comic book based on a video game. And they had recently surpassed the longest running licensed comic in history, which I said they've already reached 290 issues, compared to Conan the Barbarian's 275 issues. And it's also the longest running sci-fi comic, surpassing Star Trek's 212 issues. So any Sonic fans out there, don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Now, I cannot believe I missed this last time, but the Ursa Major Awards are now ready to nominate. From the 12th to February 28th, you'll now be able to nominate your favorite furry creations for the 2016 Ursa Major Awards. And it'll go through several different categories. We have website, magazine, motion picture, dramatic short work or series, novel, short fiction, other literary work, non-fiction work, comic strip, graphic story, published illustration, and game. So you go to the Ursa Major website and just go ahead and put in what you think is deserving of an Ursa Major award. So one other thing. Now, I was told about this story and I could not believe this because I'm a big aviation fan. It's not very apparent with me on this channel, but I am a big fan of commercial airplanes. But this past week, an airplane that was taken off from Charlotte had collided with a deer. And they actually did good off the ground, but did turn around and come back. And for those of you wondering why they took off, it was more likely because that they have reached a speed where they have no choice but to take off. But I looked at photos and there was damage on the front of the wing, which is called the slat, which actually helps with lift at lower speeds. But there was a good dent in there. But my biggest question is, how the heck did a deer get onto the airport? Because usually airports are usually surrounded by fencing. So either there's a hole in there or somehow this deer somehow got itself a trampoline and just hopped over that fence. But this is actually not that uncommon of an occurrence, as a stat show that less than one deer gets hit every week at an airport. I don't know how that happens. And by the way, this was on a CRJ 700, which is a small regional plane, so this easily could have been disastrous. But for those of you that are not big in this, it's more likely that you would have trouble because of a bird strike. They put in these precautions to try to clear out any birds that are in the area. All right, so I think that is it for now. And by the way, Anthrocon had already had their hotels opened up, but if you are looking for space, my suggestion is to go to conroomies.com, and you'll be able to look for anyone that has any hotel space, or if you have hotel space, you can advertise it and just find some roommates to fill in that space for you. Alright, so that will do it for now. This Dragon's Mouth is now closing.